Now to the Ohio Rep District 5. Looks like Tim Ginter is going to win that one by a lot. 100% of precincts reporting. And in the 98th, Bill Hillier with a big-time win over Todd Beagle, 97% reporting. Let's go to our political analyst now. Mike McTeague is joining us again tonight. Mike, let's talk Senate. Some big races that had a lot to do with whether the Senate was going to flip blue. Let's talk about that.
It's 53-47. The Senate's held by the Republicans, so the key ones were Alabama. And here, if Mr. Tuberville wins, he's the Republican. That's one they had to hold. Susan Collins in Maine was another Republican. She had to hold. And Lindsey Graham in South Carolina had to hold. Those were the ones that were targeted especially. There's always going to be a flip-flop for ones that didn't make the maybe yes, maybe no category. It looked as if McSally lost, and she's out of Arizona, so that's one that drops down the number. But it's a very close time, and the rest of them are going to be a question of the western states, Montana, you're going to get into Colorado, the Arizonas. All of those are the ones that perhaps are going to come to us late, and we won't know about them for the time being. But it has a tendency to say the House usually picks up seats in a presidential election of the opposite party, and the Senate has a tendency sometimes to flip, but not always. If it does, it'll be one of those times where you could have what they call a tide. A president becomes a Democrat, the House and Senate fit in one party, but it doesn't happen as often as you might think. Usually one of those houses probably stays, and it looks like this time the Senate may stay on the Republican side.
And Democrats push that big time, potentially
Absolutely.
flipping
That's
the Senate and getting the White House.
And they were planning to try and target more than a few. And a lot of places simply thought that North Carolina was a questionable place as well, which means that the Southern Belt, Georgia, where they were talking about Purdue, coming along, they've had pre-election because they had to have a runoff election. All of those southern states were in play. And surprisingly, Mr. Trump, I think, has been able to hold a bigger block there than was expected, because Mr. Biden certainly said, I'm going to target some states, and maybe we're going to get this new group of voters in, Black Americans in particular, and out west, Hispanic Americans, to probably turn the tide. And hopefully, for him, it was the Hispanic group coming into Florida. Well, that may not have been the case.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. And we're going to talk about how expensive some of those Senate races got coming up here in just a little bit.